Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Power of Knowing Forum's LinkedIn Live episode, the Regenesis Talk, episode 188. Today, we are discussing on a topic of loyalty, right? And what drives repeat business on this topic. Today, I would like to share a small thing. Namaste and warm greetings to everyone today. December is a season of reflection, gratitude for many of us around the world. We have the honor to gather this spirit here in India. Today, we are talking about loyalty and unique value that transcends cultures, faiths, and business. It's a foundation for building trust, respect, enduring relationships. Thomas, over to you, Thomas.
Indeed.
Hi, Thomas. Welcome to the show. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me, Prem?
Yes, I can hear you, Thomas.
Okay, that's wonderful. So, thank you very much for that introduction. And as you say, it's a very important season of the year, the changeover of the year just approaching, and it is a season of, warmth and uh, greetings between all human beings, I think. So, it's also about creating a flow of trust and value that benefits everyone involved. So, hopefully, that's our subject today. Loyalty, for sure, is more than just retention. Uh, with the Regenesis Growth Program, which is, you may know, launching in January, we're excited to share how you can embed loyalty into the heart of your teams and customer relationships. So, stay tuned for a special announcement that could transform your 2025. So, let's start with this. Loyalty is often seen as a reward we expect from others. But what if we flip the perspective? What if loyalty begins with the actions we take to earn it from our employees, partners, and customers? Rajiv.
Hi, Thomas. Thank you very much. Uh, the basic, discussion which we want to have today is that one of the key takeaways for us is to align people. So the understanding that loyalty starts with the organization, a team that feels respected, valued, naturally creates a ripple effect of loyalty uh, outward. So there's a question for everyone: how are we aligning your people to earn their trust and commitment? And that is what I think we should talk about more. So I would like to hear from you, Thomas, how the alignment of loyalty can be done within the team by the organization.
Okay, thank you, Rajiv. And of course, once you have the alignment, the next step is flow. And in our program for next year, workshop two is all about maximize flow. It shows you how to identify and eliminate the barriers that frustrate loyalty, whether it's internal miscommunication or external service issues. Uh, in your experience, I guess what you may find is that any small but impactful change in an organization it can either get in the way of flow or it can really help improve flow. So it's a good question to explore right at the start. What do we mean when we say to improve flow, to improve alignment, to improve that deep retention? One example is streamlining internal approvals. Once a customer or has taken a service or a product, it's important that your team knows exactly what it needs to jump through in terms of the hoops and the kind of the hurdles that must be overcome to actually deliver whatever that service or product is to the customer. And if you don't, then quickly that builds frustration with the customer. And customer experiences all. By reducing bottlenecks, you increase satisfaction for both employees and customers. Prem.
Yeah, Thomas, that's right. Uh, that brings us to the expansion of the workshop that we are talking about on catalyze expansion, taking loyalty to the next level by turning customers into advocates. and it's about creating a system that lets loyalty grow naturally. Rajiv, what is your take on this?
Yeah, for me, it's all about storytelling. Because organizations tell compelling stories about the mission and their uh, and impact inspire loyalty beyond transactions. So this is especially important in India, where relationships are deeply personal and trust is earned over time. I have seen many CEOs, many startup entrepreneurs, they are really focusing on this aspect of storytelling. And if your story is compelling, if your story is strong enough, if your story is having the right kind of chords which you can actually connect with your customers, with your stakeholders, with the people who are investing in you, then you have the success in front of you, and you can succeed very easily. So I think the most important aspect for me is storytelling, and the storytelling has to be done by the organization as a policy, and many CEOs are really doing a good job on this, and if they are doing good job, they are getting good results as well. So storytelling for me is the most important thing. Over to you, Thomas.
And just kind of say to our audience, look, if there are issues we're beginning to touch on here, and I think what we're saying here is in the growth program, we feel it's essential to tackle three key areas. As you know, it's make sure all of our people, from top to bottom and across the front end, are all aligned to our central mission, which is delivering whatever it is that we do. The second area then is to make sure our internal processes are easy for us to understand and work smoothly from the customer's point of view to avoid building frustration. And then thirdly, it's once you've got all that properly sorted, then it's safe for your organization to expand and grow. And I know if Sunil was able to be with us here today, he would talk a lot about this from his point of view, which we've talked about in previous workshops. Having the kind of readiness internally to expand internally is absolutely key. So let's tie all this back to our theme, which is loyalty, which is a two-way street. Whether you're leading a startup or a global corporation, loyalty is your multiplier for long-term success. And that's loyalty of staff. And of course, customer retention is really key. It's 4 times less expensive to uh, keep an existing customer than it is to acquire a new one. So that's a big, big expense all the time we have to reach out to find new customers, new customers, new customers, because there's attrition in our existing customer base. So none of that is what we want. So this is what the Regenesis Growth Program equips you to achieve. It's one of the many things that it tackles head on. So let's talk about a couple of things here. Number one, loyalty metrics in a global context. So when we talk about loyalty, it's essential to measure it. One way organizations assess loyalty is through the Net Promoter Score. Very good, the NPS, which measures how likely your customers are to recommend you. India as a hub for customer service excellence, and it really is around the world. You know, if you plug into an Indian process provider, particularly customer service processes, you often get a higher level than you get anywhere else in the world because of the way it's all set up. It works really smoothly. And I guess India has a unique opportunity to turn this operational success into long-term trust and advocacy. But this requires consistent improvement. For example, are you collecting feedback not just after sales, but after every touch point with your customer? How are you using that feedback to make meaningful change? Rajiv and Prem, what's your comments on this particular area? What's done in India mainly?
Well, in India, there's a lot of, there are a lot of examples on this, and we have many companies which have over the years built the trust of the users. So there are bigger brands like Tata Group. They have built the trust as well as the legacy. Uh, the Tata Group was the first Indian airline company, and later on the Tata airline was taken over by Government of India, and it was named as Indian Airlines. And to top this story, the Indian government has actually given it back to Tata Group because they felt that they'll be managing it better. So now Tata Group manages Air India, which is the key airline for India. So that is the kind of legacy, that is the kind of trust, not only the customer, but the government also has on this group. And you must have heard the story about Mr. Ratan Tata, who was at the helm of affairs recently. He went to heaven, but his legacy, his story continues, and people are really trusting this company. Whatever businesses they get into, they have successfully turned around. So Tata Motors, Tata is there having an arrangement with Starbucks. Tata has arrangement with many multinational companies who want to come to India. So they are actually going to Tata Group that, okay, please, you become our partners in our growth story. And that legacy, which is so strong, continues, and right from the basic needs of a consumer to the big brands like 1mg, and they are taking over startups, successful startups also in India. So 1mg, which was a medicine delivery company, is now a Tata Group company. They are into e-commerce business also. So they are actually getting more entrenched into the ecosystem. And if you look at the international examples, of course, Apple is such a beautiful example we have. When we connect these stories back to Regenesis, and how Indian businesses can emulate these models, I think we have a lot to tell our uh, people who will be attending our workshops in future, that how you can actually align your growth story by building the trust, by focusing on your corporate governance, by focusing on ESG model, by focusing on many such strong fundamentals, and by actually winning the trust of the people, by serving them, by giving them quality which they are looking at, by giving them the strong foundation for trusting them. So that is what it's not just building a loyal customer base, but also creating brand advocates who promote them. So Prem, I think we should hear you out on this point about Indian
It's
corporates.
not only about loyalty on the customer base, but also creating a brand, Rajiv. You've taken a lot of examples where creating a brand advocates who actively promote you. Tata is one example. You have told in as many as words that you said. 1mg, Starbucks, many brands. If you look at even Mercedes Benz, when they started to come to India, Tata was the person, or the Tata was the group that brought Mercedes Benz also, is what I understand. So it's not only an example. Tata is not an example of Indian brand, but it has earned a customer loyalty over the decades by continuously delivering the value and trust. They, whatever they touch, they've trust taken value. Like, take Land Rover is another brand that they've brought in, and today they are soaring in great heights. And that brand has created that loyalty where customers look at taking these brands very seriously, Thomas. What do you, Thomas?
the world. I know of a couple of really big organizations, for example, in the UK. I remember when British Telecom uh, asked an Indian team to take over customer services on broadband. We were amazed at the quality of service and the quality of politeness of all the people that were in the Indian team as they engaged with customers. It was wonderful. They actually had better vocabularies than English people and were much more gracious. And so they would talk down the most stressed and irate customer beautifully. So I think we were all very surprised at that, at how good the customer service and the quality of this loyalty building behavior set was. And that was in the team. I think where we want to help with Regenesis is on the inside of the organization. Loyalty isn't just a customer concept, it's also something that applies to the insides of organizations. And I think the biggest struggle now that I perceive with Indian companies trying to get alongside other global companies as equals is there's a difficulty understanding how the inside of the organization works. It obviously does work in an Indian cultural appropriate way, but in order to dovetail as an equal with external companies in other parts of the world, there needs to be a kind of common language. And I think what we're trying to do with Regenesis here is to help the Indian companies get that common language so that the rapport and the dovetailing as equals with other companies around the world is much easier. Because I think one of the reasons that India has got such strength is it's evolved its own models. And I think it needs to be able to be flexible when it gets alongside another company, how it works inside and how it communicates with the outsiders. That would help a lot. So it's one of the major themes that Regenesis India now is addressing. So, so inside organizations, when leaders demonstrate loyalty to their team, backing them up in tough situations and investing in their growth and bringing them on as managers and executives and more, it allows more people to have answers within the body of the organization. And this really helps build confidence when you're relating to other, perhaps also large organizations in other parts of the world. I know a number of my colleagues have said they often visit Indian teams, and the Indian team thinks of themselves as second order to the wherever the American or the English or the French team, but absolutely they're not. And one of the messages the kind of the team from elsewhere in the world takes out is, you are our equals, you are part of our team, but somehow there's something that needs a small adjustment. So this culture of trust and mutual respect and equalness is really important to top functioning partnerships and companies. And that in turn translates to better customer experiences, because there's no difference in what the bit that the Indian team handles and, say, a UK team or a USA team or a South African, wherever the other team is. There's no difference. And the customers just get one seamless experience all the way through. So, and I don't think the learning is one way, I think it's two way. So there's some things companies from elsewhere in the world need to learn from India. Just as the other way around as well. Well, it's true, but Indian companies need to learn about how the rest of the world expects companies to kind of go. So a lot of this is ultimately about the way we engage, and Indian companies engage both with each other in India and between India and the teams and the external people elsewhere. So I think we've got a little bit of work to do that, and Regenesis definitely helps providing that recognizable framework, because Regenesis is active here in India, but it's also active elsewhere in the world, and it's exactly the same program, it's the same master maps, which is why we produced it. We wanted to simplify and make management much more impactful. So I'm going to stop there for a minute and say, Prem, engagement. What are your words around this?
Thanks, Thomas. To celebrate this season of trust and collaboration, we are offering a special discount on the Regenesis Growth Program. Save 70%, just INR 12,500 for all the three workshops, and 1 year implementation support, or try one workshop, which is about 5,000 rupees. Don't wait for this offer. It is a limited offer. So please grab the offer. Don't wait, is what we are saying. Thomas, your pointers on this, Thomas?
Absolutely. And go to any of us, just reach out on LinkedIn, or if you've got our email addresses, reach out with email. We'd be delighted to talk you through the offer. This is brand new, ready for this festive season and the new year. So, but it will fill up quick. So don't miss it. It's quite a lovely offer this time of year. Rajiv, do you want to add anything in from a Genesis point of view, from a Genesis India point of
Yeah.
view?
So I would like to thank, first of all the audience who are loyal to us, who have been attending our programs on regular basis. And Thomas, special thanks to you that you are here on a Christmas Eve, you know, and you are participating in this workshop despite today being 25th. So so that shows the commitment. That shows the commitment we have for India, and that shows the continuous. Collaboration we are having with Power of Knowing Forum. So thank you, Prem, for standing all, every time to make sure that we are there every Wednesday. And I'm sure the success of the workshops will make us more confident, and that is what we want to deliver back to you. So, the Genesis Growth Program, which we are offering, I think it's a fantastic deal. We switched from a dollar to a rupee payment methodology so that it is easier for all of you. And of course, the offering is very, very, lucrative. So I don't think you will get such strong content at this pricing anywhere. So my advice to all of you is do jump in. And Thomas, I couldn't stop. We were talking about the Tata Group, and we were talking about the leadership of Mr. Ratan Tata. I still remember when there was a crisis situation and there was an attack on Taj Hotel in Mumbai. This man, who was the owner of this big group, was standing on the road, and he was trying to oversee that all his employees who are inside, who are fighting for their life and death, they are actually safe. And there are many stories about Tata Group where they actually saved their customers at the cost of their own life. So that kind of commitment, that kind of inspiration comes from strong leadership. And India has many such examples where leaders have backed their teams, and then the teams have really performed, as you mentioned about British Telecom. And so India is a hub for, as a backend for the world. Now there are many legal outsourcing. There's many other kind of outsourcing which is coming to India, because the Indian people are very good at it. They are very good at servicing their customers, and that's what we bring in as a ethos. So thank you for sharing the moment with us, and let us take lessons from loyalty into the new year and build relationship that last lifetime. So I just want to wish everyone who is around us a very, very happy New Year, a Merry Christmas. And I just want you guys to um, get in touch with any of us for your daily challenges, and we'll be very, very happy to assist you. And do join the workshop, and do join our sessions on regular basis. Over to you, Thomas.
Audience and their loyalty to us, and of course our great colleague Prem, who's hosted all of these and provided a platform for us to bring Regenesis so fully into India. And it's been a great collaboration. So thank you, Prem, very much indeed. So it just remains for me to say to all our audience, do start your journey to deeper, more meaningful choices in 2025. Regenesis is all about that. It's only about becoming a wealth creator, a value creator, and lifting up your own life and career as well as your organization. And ultimately, I think India is inspirational. India can help the world. And we need, ideally, to make it a bit easier for you not only to be backstage, but also in many situations to be front stage and lead us to a better, more human centric and more nature and world centric future than perhaps we're contemplating in some places in the world at the moment. So, from my point of view, I just like to say namaste and happy Christmas and best wishes to you all. And here's to a prosperous and loyal 2025. Prem, back to you, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Thomas. It's been a holiday here in India and elsewhere. And as Rajiv rightly said, Thomas has taken his time on a festive day, which is a very important day in UK, where he's he's talking to us from. And UK celebrates Christmas on a very grand scale, and leaving his family and being part of this one. That's the commitment we want to share to our audience. Please do look at our episodes on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We hope you found this discussion valuable, and thank you for joining us. Our next episode would be the 188th ninth episode on Leadership 2.0, Thriving into Chaos of UCA World, tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Looking forward to see you again. Good day. Bye for now. Bye, Thomas. Bye,
Thank
Rajiv.
you. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Prem. Thank you, Rajiv.
Thank you.